This video tutorial covers the process of adding content to your site in Google Sites, but also integrating it with some of the work that you've done on social media and other types of web resources elsewhere. We're beginning on the home page of the site we've been using as an example, and we're going to cover some of the ways you integrate these materials into your website. So one of the first requirements is that you insert some images, Picasa web albums, and YouTube video and Google Maps into the site. So let me show you how we do that. Let's begin with About Us. We're going to select that page and edit it. And this page contains instructions on how you add first Google Web albums or Picasa web albums in a slideshow to the site, and also YouTube videos. You have instructions for how to do that, and if you click this link, you'll also be able to see a video from Google about how that's done. But let's look at it this way. We're going to do a Picasa web slideshow under the Insert menu. Then we get to select the URL of that Picasa web album. Now, I have that already. These are, I have two albums in this particular folder. Murray State Photos is the one I want to do, and then that then is the URL for that. I simply copy that and then paste it here. I determine the size I want to be, indicate whether or not I want captions, and then include the title. So I'm going to call it Kentucky Classics Images, and there it is. Similarly, in the YouTube video component where I would like to insert that, I simply place the cursor where I want it to be, insert, video, YouTube. It's asking me for the URL of the video. I already have that up here in my YouTube account, and it's going to be an MSU campus tour. So I simply take the URL for that, and once again, I copy it, paste it in the text box, and provide a title, and then we're ready to go. Let's go to Contact Us and look at how we do a map. So we'd like to put the map here, where to find us, and once again we use Insert, Map, and we want to use My Maps. And so what it's now doing is looking for the maps in my Google account. The one I want to do is Murray State Highlights. I simply select that. I indicate how I would like it to look and where I want it to be, and then save it. And the map shows up here. Once again, when I save that, the map loads, and this is what my users will see when they come to the site. And so it includes the map of the area and the place marks that I've created, just as you did in your Google map. So those are some of the ways you can do it directly. It's also possible to pull in a wide variety of content using gadgets. And a gadget is a mechanism for tying your Google website to some other kind of content or application somewhere else. So we're going to go back to the home page, and I want to show you a couple of applications here. And so let's edit this page and start with images. You're going to have to use at least two images in the pages, and they can come in relatively easily. That's just Insert, Image, and there are a couple of ways of doing this. You can provide the web address of an image in Picasa web albums, or you can upload them from your system. So let me select an image here to move it up. When it's uploaded, I can select it and put it into the site. I'm going to use a picture of the college to do that now. And so now it appears right where I want it to. I can adjust the size. I can center it, move it to the right, allocate it as I wish. So that takes care of the images. You're also required to integrate using gadgets some material from your blogs and Facebook accounts. So let me illustrate for you how that is done. But before I do that, as you can see, you don't have a great deal of control exactly over where things go on the page. And so there are some ways of doing that that I want you to be familiar with. The first one is layout view page by page, in which you can create various columns or various components. Then you can move material or components back and forth between columns. As you see, we've selected a one column, a very simple sort of approach to give us a way of moving things around like we want. Another way of doing that, so we're going to leave that as it is because we would like a little bit more control on each page of the site. So instead we're going to do is use a table for formatting purposes, and we are specifically going to insert a 4x4 table. Now what we're going to do is use a gadget to put different content in each one. And we will, to illustrate how this works, we're just going to take this one, the announcements gadget. I cut it, and now I'm going to paste it in one component of the table. So as you can see, what we're going to do is use each cell of the table to put new content in the site. The first gadget we will insert is related to our blog. So let's insert more gadgets at the bottom. There are a bunch of these things, so let's do a search for the ones we might want, which would be an RSS feed from our blog. There it is right there. Let's select that. It has a Google Blogspot source already, so let's just change that to the title of our blog. In my case, ET in Marketing. You would put the title that you've done for your content. We're going to call it Kentucky Classics. We want it to be about 400 pixels wide and say 300 high. You can experiment and change those as you need to. Let's keep the title as Kentucky Classics blog. Let's take a look, see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good for us. So let's say OK, and now that's inserted in the table in a second cell. We're going to do the same thing with our Twitter content, and here's how that works. Insert more gadgets. This time let's do a search for Twitter. We'll use the first one here. That looks like kind of what we want, so let's select that, and now we configure it as well. We'll call it Kentucky Classics Tweets. I'll put the screen name for my account. You would put your organizational account. We want to use 7 of them. Let's look at it in the canvas view. Let's stay with 400 pixel wide, 300 pixels high. Include a scroll bar if we need it. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we say OK, and now we have a third one. Now there is a Facebook gadget that you can put in. It requires a direct connection between your Facebook account and the gadget, and therefore your website. There might be some privacy concerns that you would have because it includes information on friends. So I'm not going to do that one. You can do that if you'd like, but you're not required to. So now you've met the 2 required gadgets, and now you can play around a little bit and do anything you want. The last gadget I want to insert is one that offers my users a little bit of chance to play around a little bit. So I'm going to try and find one with some Sudoku puzzles. You notice that even here I have my choice of several of them. Once again, I'm going to just take the first one out of the box. I'm going to select that. Let's leave it at 400 pixels by 300 and say compliments to let our users know that we are providing them the game. There it is. Looks like fun. So let's just insert that. Okay, now's the time to save it and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the way it's laid out in the table. If it doesn't look like you want to do it, then you can go back and change the properties and improve the configuration of the page as you want. So these are the tools you need to add the integrative content to your site to make it more exciting, more attractive, and make it a little bit more appealing to users. And that concludes this video lesson.